What's up guys, welcome back to another mobile detailing video. And in today's video we're going to be talking about how my 2018 Ram ProMaster City burns oil. Yes guys, that's right, it burns a lot of oil. There's a major thing wrong with the engine, and every month or so I have to check the oil and top it off with a half a quart of oil or so. So we're gonna go over all about why the Ram ProMaster Cities burn oil, and I'm just here to caution you guys to beware of the Ram ProMaster City in case you're interested in investing one for your business. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And I want to take a moment to say thank you to this video's sponsor, Jobber. Thank you, Jobber, for sponsoring this video. And to the viewers, stay tuned for later on in the video where I'm going to tell you how to get a free 14-day trial. All right, guys, to be honest, I'm a little embarrassed to admit that my baby here is burning oil. When you own a nice car, when you spend a lot of money to invest in a nice vehicle, the worst thing that you want is it to either burn oil or to leak oil. They both suck. I would say leaking oil is worse than burning oil, but they both suck. And I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that my sound investment let me down. But I kind of had no choice. When it was time to buy this van, I did kind of jump into it, and I did get denied when I wanted to buy a Transit Connect. So I tried to buy the small Transit Connect, but the loan that I went through, the van that I went through, we didn't get approved right away. So we ended up going towards another dealership that we got the Ram. And I remember that I did do a little bit of research on the Ram, and I can't recall whether I did it before or after, but it was right around the time when I bought the van that I had found out that these vans had problems with burning oil. So I'm sure some of you guys have bought cars in the past or have owned cars now, and you know there's a common problem that happens with that car, but you just hope it's not gonna happen to me. And that's kind of what I thought. I said, it's not gonna happen to me. Well, when I took the van home, I knew that I needed to check the oil pretty often. So I did, and it wasn't before long that I discovered that the van was burning anywhere from a quarter of a quart of oil down to a full quart, depending on how much driving and how long in between that I was checking. But it was undoubtedly that the van was burning a substantial amount of oil within a 30-day period. So I would have to definitely check it every 30 days or so, and to be accurate, maybe even every 2 weeks, but I was definitely having to keep an eye on it and also top it off. So no need to worry. Some of you guys know I run a rental company. We have to change out engines. We have to salvage cars. We got to do some crazy stuff, new transmissions. Honestly, nothing scares me anymore. So that's why I say no need to worry. Anything can be fixed. But I did want to caution you guys, because I know either a lot of you guys have Ram ProMaster Cities, or a lot of you guys are watching my content, researching about to invest into a mobile detailing business, and some of you guys are just going to get the Ram ProMaster City. So I just wanted to at least spread some awareness of what's out there. The way I found out was there was a van lifer type dude where he bought a Ram ProMaster City, a little mini cargo van, and he changed it into a little mini home. And he does all kinds of content about like how he cooks in the home, how he sleeps there, how he travels, how he works from there. And he literally lives like year round in a little ProMaster City mini cargo van. Anyhow, he bought his car brand new, and shortly after he discovered that it was burning oil, and he made a video about it, and I watched that video, and that's how I found out. And he basically explained in the video that it's a known problem with the Ram ProMaster Cities, that Ram is fully aware of it, and they do these tests to check on how much it's burning. So they'll change the oil, put a fresh oil change in there, and then they'll put like a do not tamper sticker on the thing, on the little cap here. and they'll send you about your way, and you put about 1,000 miles on it and you bring it back, and then they measure exactly how much oil was being burnt. And then from there, they determine whether it's a dangerous amount that's being burnt or it's a safe amount that is standard, and that it basically they won't do anything about it. They say, hey, that's just how it is. There's always a certain level amount that's okay to be burned. But then if it determines that it's like a dangerous amount, that it's a catastrophic failure type thing, then they may go about remedying the situation. Now, the remedy to the situation is they give you a brand new engine. So do I want to go through that whole process? It takes a lot of work, and you got to go and you got to try and get yourself a new engine. I've heard people doing the test, and it's kind of like the okie doke. Like the dealerships will say, okay, we believe you, it's burning oil. We sympathize with your problem. Come in, we'll perform our test, and then we'll let you know if we can remedy it. Well, all along, they know they're not gonna remedy it. So I knew a guy, he went and did the test. He said it burns quarts of oil, and they still at the very end said, no, they're not gonna remedy it and replace anything, that it is what it is. He's stuck with it, he just has to deal with it. So I'm concerned that's gonna happen to me. And in my perspective, I feel like burning a little bit of oil isn't the worst thing, because I don't drive a lot. I actually only bring the van to a certain area and perform most of my details right there in that area, which is very close to where the van is parked at. But for some of you guys who are driving 100 miles per day, 7 days a week, and you have this problem, you may want to see if the dealer will remedy the situation, at least follow through with that avenue. And if that doesn't work, at least now that you know, keep an eye on it. Try not to get any worse, because the more that you drive the van on low oil, the more the problem is going to get worse. So you don't want to go from maybe burning a quarter of quart or a half a quart of oil to now you're burning like a full quart very fast. So you want to try to at least still baby it. The other thing is, like I was telling you earlier, for me, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. It's not a huge deal to me, because this van is worth way more than just buying a new engine. Like, I have all of my stuff installed in here, mounted, customized. I have the whole van, which is in mint condition, and I still owe a lot on the van. That's another thing I'll get into. But what I'm getting at is, if I have to buy a used engine for this van, I'll buy a used engine for the van, and we'll just swap it out. I could probably get an engine for this van for maybe 2,000 bucks, and I could probably have it swapped out with labor only. I would bring the used engine to my mechanic and strike a deal with him and ask him how much labor would it cost to pull the engine out and put a new one in. And he would probably quote me around 700 bucks labor for something like that. So I could get maybe a brand new engine for around 3,000 bucks or 2,500 bucks put in to the van if I ever have to do that. Or I'll just ride it out until it's time to upgrade. That brings me to another point, guys. If you're gonna buy a van, you might not want to go with the mini cargo vans. They have a lot of problems. The transit connects, the transmission goes out. And now I'm bringing it to your attention that the Ram ProMaster Cities burn oil. What's the alternative? You might want to go with a full-size van, a Ford Transit, a Ram ProMaster, or a Mercedes Metris. So guys, I'm going to take the opportunity while I'm making this video to actually check the oil for me for this month to see how I'm doing. And I want to give you a couple tips on how to check your oil. So the very best way to check your oil is first thing in the morning. Before you crank that key, before you have done anything, the very first thing is to check your oil. So one way to leave yourself a reminder, let's say you've been wanting to get an accurate reading on your dipstick and you're trying to remember to do it in the morning, but you keep forgetting and you just jump in the car and you go. Well, what I do is I put a little napkin on my driver's seat. So in the morning when I get in the van, I see the napkin, so it reminds me to check it, okay? Now, You will not always get an accurate reading on the dipstick unless you do it in the morning. You will never get an accurate reading. The only accurate reading is first thing in the morning. Now, once you start your van and the oil pump brings all the oil to the top of the engine and everywhere, and it lubricates everything, the level is ruined. You're not gonna get an accurate reading. Once your van is hot and the oil is like watery, you're not gonna get an accurate reading. It's completely different. So all day long while you're using your van, while it's hot, while it's being used, while the oil pump is circulating stuff, you're not gonna get accurate readings. So you gotta do it in the morning. That's how you do it. So I drove my van to this park. This is the first time I drove it today. So I literally turned it on for 10 minutes and went from my apartment, about 10-minute drive to this park, and I've been filming for about 30 minutes or so. I've been in this parking lot for about 30, 40 minutes. So it's went down a little bit. It's not gonna be totally accurate by no means, but if you absolutely have to check it during the day while after you've driven, then yes, you gotta let the car sit for as long as you can. 10, 15, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. The longer the better. So anyways, here we go. Let's see what this is. So the first time you gotta wipe it, right? So here we are, gonna wipe it, and then we're gonna reapply it. You wanna push it all the way through until it clicks, and then you pull it out again, and now you're gonna get an accurate reading. So mine is, it looks like it's about 1/4 of a quarter quart low. That's not bad at all. So it's literally just a couple hairs under the full line is where I like to have mine. When it comes to oil, you always want it a couple hairs under the full line. A lot of oil stops will tell you, oh, it's okay if it's a little over the full line. It's okay if it's a little overfilled. No, it's not. Why did the manufacturer put that full line there? Not so you could disobey it and go over. You always want to be right under. Never overfill your engine, and never be underfilled. You don't want your thing to be halfway empty. So you always want to keep it right where the manufacturer recommends it. And you want to be extremely detailed and extremely precise, because the oil is the most important thing in the car, and the water too, the radiator. But so mine's perfect right now. I've been keeping an eye on it. Hey guys, it's time for me to take a brief break and share with you guys about my sponsor, Jobber. So Jobber is a business management software, and it's how I run my business. And right now what I'm doing is I'm going to check a couple things in my van because we are preparing for a couple big jobs. I'm going to be cleaning one of those big giant transit passenger vans, like the ones where they transport like elderly people. There's just like tons of seats in there. They're really tall and long. And I gotta make sure I have a couple chemicals and things because that's gonna be really, really dirty. You're gonna get a deep clean on that. So that side looks good. Let me check this side, what we need. And yep, just like I suspected, I'm going to have to go into my chemical cabinet and refill my APC. I always keep a gallon of full strength APC because these deep cleans are super dirty, and we use APC on everything: engines, tires, brakes, interiors, carpets, upholstery, even sometimes APC on the paint to do a pre-soak. Anyhow, guys, when I have a big job, when I'm cleaning big vehicles that I have to get ladders out of and that they're the size of a small motorhome, I go into my Jobber app and I send a notification to my employees and I schedule them for the job because I do not do those big jobs by myself. I bring on some cheap labor. I made a video earlier kind of making fun of it, that I bring on cheap labor when I do big jobs. It's true. These guys, I pay them $20, $25 an hour. It's not that much, but they enjoy it. It's part-time for them. but I go in, they're linked up with my Jobber app. I have their schedules, their availability. I send them a notification. I add them to the job that we've created. We confirm the appointments and they get notified, and they can adjust their schedules and confirm and do little things. They have access to the app. I invite them as users, and we get set and we get ready for the job. And like, I'm starting to prepare for the job, gotta wash some rags, gotta do a bunch of things before the job even starts. All they gotta do is just show up. They have the address, the time, the services we're performing. They got it all. They're already prepared. And so is my customer. My customer gets a link and gets a detailed description of what the services we're going to perform. They even know what employees are going to show up. And until the time that the job is booked, until we go perform the job, sometimes I have my employees follow up with the client to see if they need anything else, if they want to add another car, or if they want to maybe add something on, like for instance, add on some engine bay cleaning. So we initially locked in the job for a set amount of price for one car, but sometimes we like to follow up and try to sell an add-on. So we can add on things, and that could be more money for my employees, more time and labor for all of us. So that's how I use Jobber when I'm doing big jobs. And if you guys want to try Jobber for your business, you can always go into the link in my bio, and we give you a complimentary free 14-day trial and try it out. And guys, feel free to reach out and let me know how you liked it. Thank you again to our sponsor, Jobber. And now it's time to get back to the video. All right, guys, I'm gonna tell you a little story about how I bought this van. I'm gonna tell you a story about what I would do differently. And hopefully you guys will take that advice. Or if you don't, it's up to you. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. So for starters, why this van is really important to me. Obviously, it's my first mobile detailing van. And I bought this van at a time where these vans, they were going extinct. So in about 2021, Ford announced they were not going to make the Transit Connect anymore. Ram ProMaster City announced there would be no more Ram ProMaster Cities. So there was this big craze that the mini cargo vans were going extinct. Same with the Nissan MB. They stopped making those. So all of the used mini cargo vans, the pre-owned ones, they went up in price. Their value went up like 10 grand overnight. And that was the time I needed my van. It was around 2021, almost 2022. And this van was selling for around $29,000. So just to give you a context, in 2021 when I bought this van was almost 4 years old already. This is a 2018. So it was 4 years old and it was selling for around $29,000. That's how much they sell brand new. So it was about $10,000 over. I should have got this van for around 20 grand, but I ended up overpaying around 10 grand. Now I got a horrible interest rate. After all the interest in the add-ons, taxes, licensing, amount financed was like something crazy. I signed a 6-year contract with a $500 a month car payment. Let me tell you about how much that was. So over 6 years, this van will have cost me around $36,000. I think it's a little more, to be honest, but that's pretty much the deal I went with because it was in immaculate shape. It was one owner and it only had 30,000 miles on it. So yes, I overpaid, but I kind of got a van that wasn't too worn out. And I'm sure you guys are seeing the same options out there. It is what it is. We pay a lot for this stuff. Now, with that said, I pay $500 a month for this, right? Now, if I were to redo it and I were to look at some of the large cargo vans, the full-size cargo vans, and I would have done the price difference, considering how many problems these have, they don't have a lot of payload capacity. the engines, the transmissions, the payload capacity is pretty low. So once you load these vans up with all the stuff I have, I'm at the brink of the payload capacity, and the driver experience is not good at all. It's like a tiny little thing. You feel every bump. There's no power, there's no acceleration, there's no strength. You know, you just feel it's a weak van all in all together. But you got to start somewhere. So I'm kind of in between. If I could take it back, would I do it again? I honestly, guys, I like to do things the right way. I really do like to do things the right way. So if I were to look at the bigger picture, and if I could just get a van once that lasts me 10, 15 years, and I had to pay $700 or $800 a month for it, but I had security in mind, then yeah, maybe I would have got the full-size van, and I would have said, you know what, forget these little mini ones. Because guys, guess what? When you get a full-size van, the price almost doubles. They are almost twice as expensive as these. But they are built tough. They're built to do deliveries, shipments, transportations. They're built to do logistics. They're literally cargo vans. So they're built tough. They're built with that industrial mindset. These little mini cargo vans, they're like little passenger van. They were initially designed for like a little minivan, like a mini family van to cart around the soccer team. But you know, they evolved and everybody wanted to make them in the cargo van. Anyway, guys, I could go on and on and on about this subject. I love these vans. I love full-size vans. I love mobile detailing. I love the detailing industry. I love you guys. I love the detailing community. I love everything about detailing. And unfortunately, this is just another mild obstacle that I gotta deal with. And if I ever remedy the situation, or I figure out what I'm gonna do, I replace the engine or whatnot, I'll let you guys know. But I gotta keep in count is how much usage is this van getting. And fortunately for me, the commute is crazy low. I'm putting like literally less than 100 miles on it per month. I'm putting like 30 miles on it a month. It's something insanely low. It's actually unhealthy for the van how much I do not drive it. You're supposed to exercise your vans or your vehicles. You got to exercise them, get the blood flowing, get the juices flowing, get all those joints moving. You got to keep them moving and rolling. You can't just let them seize up, you know, they got to just keep going. It's unhealthy that I'm not driving a lot. It's unfortunate, but on the other end, I'm blessed. I got a lot of other projects going on that help everything going. And this thing is just kind of like a mobile garage. I just got to move it across the street into a designated area where I'm allowed to wash vehicles. Everything comes to me. I don't really do a lot of mobile detailing appointments far out in different areas of the region over here. Not that that'll ever change. We may pick up and start ramping up our detailing appointments and providing services in other areas again, like I did when I first bought this van. We were all over the place. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you for watching the video all the way through. I appreciate you if you liked the video. I appreciate you if you left a comment. Appreciate you if you shared the video. Thank you so much if you subscribe to the channel. And I will be coming out with another video in probably about a week or so. So until the next video, guys, take care.